Reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Volume 1, Chapter 3, Text 50. I believe it's Chapter 3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yasmin mahā-mudāśrāntaṁ prabhoḥ saṅkīrtanādibhiḥ vicitrām antarā bhaktiṁ nāsty anyat prema-vāhinīm. In that place is only a wonderful, blissful, eternal flowing stream of pure love for the Lord and saṅkīrtana and a host of devotional activities. In that place, there's not anything else than this. Om Jnana-timirandasya gananjana shalakaya chaksur unmilitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave namaha. Sri Chaitanya mano bhishtam stapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Sapadantikam. Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasade Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, greetings from Govardhan. I'm still settling in because I was a little ill when I got here, and then I traveled to Vrindavan. I've always described that Vrindavan is like this verse. It's a river of prema. Prema is like a river. It's an energy where everything is intensely serving God. I described before, it's like and I wanted to give a good analogy to explain that the difficulties that someone sometimes faces in Vrindavan, it's not the nature of Vrindavan, it's our nature. And I gave the example of a sailboat. If you're going east and there's a wind that's going east, and you're going, the wind's going east and you're going east, then that energy is the most pleasant thing. But if you go west, that energy, it's the same exact energy, but all of a sudden it has another effect. But the problem is not the energy has changed, it's you changed. So Vrindavan has kind of an intense energy that's moving towards Krishna. And you have to be going pretty strongly in that direction. So I'm kind of settling in, trying to keep up to speed, so to speak. So the story here in Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is, I guess I can repeat it every time because it's the theme, Parama Disha Antim. The Parama, the supreme Antim Disha stage, the supreme end of the supreme and top stage is the search of Narada. And it's a great story, and it also serves a particular mission, because this is what Sanatana Goswami was to communicate to the world. And the reason why Sanatana Goswami is to communicate this to the world, the end of the topmost stage, is because it's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to experience and give. Samarpyatam Unatoj Raswam. The most brilliant relationship with Krishna. And he came to experience it is because for God to become complete, he must have the experience of his topmost devotee at the height of her devotion, which is the mood of separation, Radharani's mood of separation from Krishna. And that's also what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give and experience. He came to experience. It's Krishna wanting that experience of his. He wanted to taste the form and ecstasy of Srimati Radharani. So, and he wanted to experience that taste. He wanted to give it to the world, and he wanted Sanatana Goswami to write about it. But to write about it in a very, very intelligent, and it's also the essence of the Bhagavatam. And the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta is the essence of the Bhagavatam. So Sanatana Goswami is explaining this. And he's explaining because it's prema-vāhinīm, it's the topmost stage. He's explaining the various stages. And eventually will wind up finding that in terms of Krishna's explanation to Satyabhama of why the love of the gopis is so exalted. And he has to do that in terms of explaining their separation. He has to do that in terms of explaining their separation, because the whole story, when again he's being kind of criticized for not going back. So he has to explain. And there's even a discussion, are the residents, by the residents of Dwarka, and by Krishna, and by Balaram, and by Rukmini, and Uddhava is there, are the residents of Vrindavan fortunate or not? So he has to defend himself, and also has to defend their position. He explains why he's not going back, but he explained their level of separation and why it is the parama-dasha-antim. Why is the topmost thing? Counted intuitively. And very brilliantly done. I think what I'll do is, because in Govardhan eventually, I'll be lecturing every day. So I think what I'll do is I'll continue this on Wednesdays and Sundays, but the other days, I think I'll explain the 6th and 7th chapter, and we'll eventually get that to Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. So anyway, in this stages of devotion that are brilliantly described in Narada's progressive search, approaching one humble devotee after another who naturally wants to deflect praise. Accepting praise puts one in a position where love doesn't flow. If you carelessly accept praise. So naturally, someone who is tasting the bliss of devotion in the consciousness of service, in the consciousness of serving the center, in the consciousness of the being on the periphery rather than the center, not wanting power of adulation and distinction, naturally deflects it. And one way they deflect it is by pointing to another devotee who Narada can examine as this topmost stage, and a devotee who they can argue has just perhaps a deeper intimacy than they have. There are stages of devotion, and I think later on there's a purport that wants to make it clear that it's not an ordinary hierarchy, because they're all perfect. So they all have their status. But there's a hierarchy of intimacy and freedom. Prabhupada put it in terms of freedom. He describes this in Ramananda Sanbodh. And what do you mean freedom? Because the type and flavor of reflection of love doesn't have any restrictions, as, for example, Aishvarya does. When you worship God in Aishvarya, it is pure, it is perfect, it is prema, in a sense. Yes, you can go from Bhava to Vaikuṇṭha, and there's Aishvarya, but there's a restriction. There's a restriction in distance for that relationship. There's a restriction in our obligations of what we can do with the superior. There's a restriction in rules and the way we behave, where in Vrindavan, that type of love, there's more freedom. For example, when Ramachandra is having a race with his friends, the friends will never beat him because he's the king. So they're restricted. There's less freedom. There's less intimacy. Where Krishna's friends can defeat him. And Krishna will have to carry the friends on the back if he loses. So it's a very high subject, but somehow or other, we're learning it in a very, very practical way. One, to gain inspiration for the goal of what this whole Krishna consciousness movement's about, and also to see what is that pure love in different perspectives. So now Lord Shiva, who is completely detached and non-different from Krishna, can give liberation, always in a state of ecstasy, cares nothing about anything external, so absorbed. He's going to point to the residence Vaikuṇṭha, especially the goddess of fortune. So he does that And this to Narada by explaining how great is Vaikuṇṭha. So there's just so many verses. And when we hear them, we not only intellectually understand them, we relish them. Because it's Rasa Shastra. So it's explaining love. And it's explaining the various emotions of love. And it's explaining the objects of devotion and the subjects of devotion. So it describes, it's a place with mudda, with bliss. But what type of mudda? Mahā-mudāśrāntaṁ, with great bliss. And it's a place, yasmin, in which there is great bliss, ashrantam, without sensation. So, and beginning with saṅkīrtana, because the bliss is best expressed. Kirtan is when the bhava in the heart is expressed through the discipline of music. So the main symptom of bliss and bhakti is the expression of it. And not only kirtan, but saṅkīrtana, joined together with others. So imagine you wanted to go to a very wonderful place. It'd be so wonderful you came to that place and there was such kirtan. Madchita, madgata prana, bodhiyantas parasparam, where the devotees are enlightening one another. Madchita, with their hearts, real saṅkīrtana. When the devotion in the heart is expressed by the discipline of music, so that the devotion pervades the atmosphere. And when you go into such an atmosphere, you can share in the devotion by hearing in the right way, because what the sound vibration is the transformation of the hearts of the prema-bhaktas. So you can take their hearts into your consciousness by listening to saṅkīrtana. And nāsty, anyat, other, nāsty. There is nothing other but antarā, except bhaktiṁ. There's nothing else but this. Nothing else but what? This prema-vāhinīm, this river of prema, of great bliss without sensation. There's nothing else there. And that's the Krishna consciousness movement, the real Krishna consciousness movement. Prabhupada said that to Jamuna and Dinatarani. They were living in their own farm. They didn't find any empowerment. They questioned Prabhupada, but we're not your movement or something like that. He said, no, the Hare Krishna movement is where the devotees are chanting the glories of God with love. So such a nice description of this place. Aho, tat paramananda, rasadhir mahima-bhūtā, brahmanandas tulam narhit, yat karna dham sakena cha. The happiness of impersonal Brahman does not equal even a very small portion of a drop of the great wonder that is the glory of that nectar ocean of the bliss of pure devotion. So one of the qualities of bhava, or is it prema? I'm not sure which one, but is Moksha laguda krit. What? A what? No. It's bhakti, but there's three divisions, and one refers to one of them. So it's moksha laguda krit. I remember there was one devotee. He was a German Olympic athlete. He was about 6'4" and had this V-shaped body. And his name was Lagu Hari. Lagu means very small. There's Guru and there's Lagu. Guru means very heavy. Lagu means very small. So, moksha laguda krit. Krit means to do. Lagu makes small. Moksha, the happiness of bhakti, the happiness of devotion, makes the happiness of moksha look very small. And it's described. We're suffering in this world. We can't imagine the happiness of liberation. We're always suffering. We're always in anxiety. Bayam dutiya. We're always filled with duality. We're always filled with fear. Always. And we can't imagine. Even in the Yoga Sutras, there are different stages of liberation. When you don't have even any mental conception of anything, except that it's prakriti. It's hard to imagine, but there's a stage of liberation where you can realize objects without the conception of them. You just see prakriti, and it's described very blissful. So there is some bliss there, but it says, if you multiply it and the number given is infinity, it will not even, or unlimited, and you can see it will not equal even a fraction of the drop of the happiness of pure devotional service. So get this. There's a happiness, and the happiness is God's happiness. So what is that feeling of God's happiness? And that should be our goal. So here it says, of that Paramananda, that Parama Ananda, that supreme Ananda, of Rasa Adibi, Mahima, Abhuta, the wonder of the glories, Rasa Adibi, of the ocean of Rasa. Then Brahma Anand, Tulyam Na, does not equal even Kana Arda, Shakena, of a fraction, of a half, of a small fraction. It doesn't even equal that, what they're experiencing. And what is, and what is offered to us. So these are the descriptions by Lord Shiva. So he's saying, those are the people that live there in Vaikuṇṭha are the people that really, really have mercy. Really have mercy. Sa Vaikuṇṭhas tadiyascha tatrayam akilam yachayat tareva Krishnas padabja parama prema-vāhinīm. Vaikuṇṭha its residence, and everything within are the greatest object of transcendental love and mercy of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. So this is what you're looking for, the greatest mercy. Then Vaikuṇṭha, Tadiya, the residence there, and Akilim, everything. Tatra, everything there, the residence there and everything there, certainly they are the parama prema anukampitam. They're the supreme object of love of Krishna's lotus feet. So Narada Muni, if in your journey, you should see them. Tadrik karunya patranam simad Vaikuṇṭha vasinam matodi katarastatam mahima kim nuvarnyatam. The glory of the opulent residents of Vaikuṇṭha, or the objects of Lord Krishna's mercy, is much greater than any glory I may possess. How will it be possible for me to describe their glories? Tadrik karunya patranam simat Vaikuṇṭha vasinam. Mata, than me, adikarata, it's much greater. And therefore, Kim, Nu, Vanya, how can I even describe it? How can I even describe it? Like a young girl, she's 5 years old. How can you describe romance? Just know that there's something so much higher, so much more mature. So how can I describe this? So that's a beautiful way, describing it and then saying, I can't describe it. It's much better than even what I think. Panchabhotika dehaye martyaloka nivasina bhagavad bhakti rasika namasya madrisam siddha. People like myself should always bow down to offer respects to they who, although they live on in the earthly planets, and although they possess material bodies made of the 5 elements, are expert at always tasting the nectar of mellows of pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who are rasika, connoisseurs, people who are connoisseurs, who really know how to relish this flavor, who expect this kind of flavor in their happiness. Namasya, Madhya, they should be offered respects like people by myself. Sri Krishna Charanamboja Pitamano Hiye Kila Tareka Prema Labasa Chaktarta Jana Jivana. They have placed themselves at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, hoping to attain pure love for Lord Krishna. They have renounced wealth, followers, and the whole sphere of material life. So, of course, Chakva, they've abandoned Artha, wealth, Jana, followers, Jiva, all these desires, because Eke Sole Prema, hoping to attain this, they've given up everything else. They know this is, and this is Sharanagati, this is the door. Without wanting to be ruled by the desires of Krishna and the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, without really making that the prime object of one's life, then how do you enter love, the supreme love? What is love? What is love? To please someone, which means to satisfy their needs, their desires, but not whimsical desires, but to please them by doing the things that are best for them, becomes so central in one's life. That's the symptom of Prabhupada. That's the example he set when he came to America. That's the example he said. Vivasayat, Vika Budhe, Ekeha Kuranandana, Ushakayanantasya. Vivasayat Mika, so fixed. So we're getting this, it's interesting, we're getting a description of the love of the residents of Vaikuṇṭha, but at the same time, we're getting an experience of a great devotee who's not envious, Lord Shiva, and who has love and appreciation for those devotees. Aihi kam mu miksha shesha sadhya sadhana nishpriha chativarnashramachara dharma dinak pariga. They do not care for material activities or material goals, either in this life or the next. They have crossed to the farther shore of varnashram duties based on the circumstances of the. So they're beyond. I'm a Brahmin. Naham Vipro, Chanara Patir, Vaishno, any type of material designation. That's not their goal. They've passed beyond all that. Their only goal is to serve Krishna in this life or the next. They don't have any other goal. Narayana prasarve nakuchas chanya bibhyati swaga pavaga narakeshu api tulyat darshan. Narayana prayana. One who's parayana, Narayana prayana. They love Narayana. They don't care. They just want to serve. They don't have any other objective, even liberation. Nidanam, Nijanam, Nisundarim, Kavitam va Jagadisha Kameye, Mama Janmana, Janma Eshri, Bhavatat Bhakti Hoitakitve. They just want to serve. Because of the power of their pure devotional service, they are free from the three debts. They've crossed beyond the path of the Vedas, and they are eternally free from all fear. So you have obligations and duties. Things are prescribed according to your condition. So you want to be purified, you have to have a prescription. But when you're already pure, you have no prescription. Nothing is dictated externally. So here it's saying, because of the power of their pure devotional service, bala vegat, bhakti bala vega, the vega, the force, like vacha vegam, manasakroda vegam. It describes the power, the force of the senses. One can control that. So here it says, but they have another force, and their force is balabhegat. They have the force, the bala of Hari Bhakti balabhega, the force of bhakti. Then because of the force of bhakti, then there's no prescriptions for them. Oh, bata swapa chato guriyan yajiva gre bhartate. They've done everything. There's no prescriptions for them. They simply want to serve, and they're free from the three debts. So you have debts to your parents, you have debts to your ancestors, and you have debts to the I think so, the community. They have no debts. They have no obligations. Because obligations are for purity. Devarshi bhutapta ninam pitrinam. Devarshi bhutapta ninam pitrinam the kinkananarm rine charajan. They have none. Devarshi bhutapta. Okay, we'll just read. They do not desire anything in this world. They only yearn for the nectar of pure devotional service. They see heaven, hell, and liberation as the same. Narada Muni, he was attached to the Himalayas. He was attached to the mood of goodness. He was attached to peacefulness. They're only attached to service. And they don't desire anything in this world. They only yearn for bhakti rasa lampata, of the nectar of bhakti. In truth, to me, they are as dear as the Supreme Personality of God in themselves. I pray I may always have their company. So this is Vaishnava Yata Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnav. He's glorifying the pure devotees on Vaikuṇṭha. And he says they're as good as God. They represent God. And he prays to always have their company. Tandira charana seva bhakti sanivas janame hoy abhilas tandira charana seva abhilas tandira charana seva bhakti sanivas. So they sing. Tandara charana seva bhakti sanivas. Abhilas. That means my desire. Abhilas. Tandara charana seva abhilas. One time, Prabhupada at different stages in the last day. The last weeks of Prabhupada's room is open 24 hours a day. And then at a particular time, the front door was locked. Oh yeah, I think the front door was locked, but you can go around the back through the what's now the library and Prabhupada's garden. You can go into his room anytime. So Bibi Govinda Swami, he was walking by and he saw Krishna's Babaji at the front door trying to get in. And he said, Babaji Maharaj, you just go around the back. So then, after a while, he wanted to look in and see what was happening. And he saw Krishna's Babaji on Prabhupada's bed, that big bed. And Prabhupada was saying, Tandara Charana Sevi, Bhakti Sanivas, Janame Hoy, Abhilas. I just want the association of the pure devotees, life after life. Very great austerity for Prabhupada and the Krishna consciousness movement. He had no friends, no advanced Vaishnavas, just children. Narada, I think that wherever devotees like this live is already Vaikuṇṭha. Of this I have no doubt. So Vaikuṇṭha is not just a place, it's a consciousness. The temple becomes Vaikuṇṭha if the devotees are focused on seva and service. Krishna Bhakti Shuddha Panad Dehat Dahika Vismrite Tesham Bhotika Dehe Pi Sadchidananda Rupata. because they drink the nectar of pure devotional service to Lord Krishna, and because they thus forget everything of the material body and the great host of things in relation to it. They have forms of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, even while they stay in bodies made of material elements. He's talking about wherever they live. Ihayasya harer dasye, karmana manasa gira, Nicholas tu avaptasu, jivan mukta uchite. One who is Ihayasya harer dasye, is always serving Krishna. Manasa, Ihayasya harer dasye, karmana manasa, with the body, the words, and the mind. Nicholas tu avapta, jivan mukta, he's liberated. He's liberated. So because they drink Krishna Bhakti Shuddha Panat, because they are drinking the Shuddha Bhakti, Krishna to Krishna, then they're pure. Param Bhagavata Shakam Shakshad Krida Parampara Sadhanu Bhavitam Tarhi Vaikuṇṭha Pekshi. They patiently wait for the time when they enter Vaikuṇṭha to enjoy transcendental pastimes with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotees I have described are all my superiors. They are very dear to Lord Krishna. They are the special object of his mercy. Sri Parvati said, of these devotees, Lakshmi is the most dear to Lord Hari. She is the queen of Vaikuṇṭha and its residents. Okay. Now I have a nice system. I have the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta on my screen, and I can see it fully and have a little screen of the Zoom at the same time. So okay. Chamunajaya,
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much for class. Such a wonderful section. There are a number of things that jumped out at me. One of them, one of the last things you said was just hit me really hard when you said that Prabhupada had no friends, only children. That just made me love him even more. We know the power of association, but he gave that all up for us. So that just almost made me cry just to hear that. But one of the other things before that you said that, how they didn't need obligation anymore because obligation is for purification. And I think that's such a great way for us that have obligations in the world to really think about the obligations for purifications and those great souls that didn't have those anymore because they were purified. So those are two really great points.
Yeah, you get prescriptions from doctor.
Yeah.
This, do that, do this, do that. For your purification. If you don't, then not. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj.
Gail?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Just one thing I missed. When Babaji Maharaj had gone in to see Prabhupada, was it he the one who said, basically, that he lives for the association of the devotees? It was not Prabhupada.
Yeah. I'll explain that. Akinchana Krishna's Babaji, Prabhupada said, was Paramahamsa. He would I met him several times. He would just chant Hare Krishna all day long. He would never say anything but chant Hare Krishna. He spoke English, but he never spoke English. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, all day long. So he was in there, and it was Prabhupada that was saying that because he was so happy that Akinchana Krishna's Babaji was giving him association. So thank you, Gail, for allowing me to make that clear.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Tota Gopinath here. So great to see and hear from you.
Yeah, Haribo, Tota. Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. This is Krishna-katha. Thank you so much. Your phrase to feel God's happiness is our goal really struck me, because I realized that Krishna's consciousness is about that, is how to feel Krishna's happiness. Thank you greatly.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Jai Shri Radhe, Haribo.
I just wanted to ask you, I know you explained it.
Why is your thing so low?
I have no idea. Honestly. I will talk like this so you can hear me better.
And then I can only see the top of your head. That's the second thing.
I wanted to ask, I know you explained it many times, Gurudev, but I wanted to ask why all the scriptures, the main scriptures, goes like story within the story within the story.
Because I can't see your mouth. I couldn't. I have to read lips too. I don't have my hearing. I can't say it again.
Why all the main scriptures that we are studying are made as the story within the story within the story?
I don't understand you.
Why all the scriptures are story within the story within the story?
Why all these?
All the scriptures are the story.
Because when you want to reference something, you use a story. And then if you tell that story elaborately, they're doing the same thing. So anytime you have a dialogue, you have to reference what you say with a story. But if you're doing the Bhagavatam, it's a long story that you're telling. And it's a lot of times it's a discussion between two people. So there may be another story within a story. But there's one story that goes on and one theme that's expressed. So even if stories change, they're still, their meanings somehow are mystically connected. Okay, Jai Shri Radhe.
Thank you.
Hi, Bo. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Jai, okay. Good.
Yeah, I didn't have a good net, so I missed most of the class, but I just wanted to say hello.
Okay, great. Now that you're back. You're back in Tehran. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
See you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Yeah,
Hare
thank you
Bo.
very much. Thank you. Haribo.
Good. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Garaj. It's Govinda.
And Bṛhad, thank you for class.
Thanks for class.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Hey, Bo.
Hey.
Is it hot there?
No, not for me. I mean, it does get up to 95, 96, 97.
Oh, wow.
But it's not, I mean, that's the peak of the day, but I don't find it uncomfortable at all. But obviously, I don't need much clothes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm coming in a couple weeks. I'll be in Vrindavan around the 29th.
Of October.
Yeah. And then I'm staying that week. And hopefully I'm sure we'll see you.
Well, ask Raghunath what's his plan. Yeah. He's down the road from me.
Okay.
I mean, it's a 20-minute walk, 15-minute walk, 3-minute rickshaw drive to my ashram.
Oh, okay, great.
That you come over with Bob or something.
Okay.
Right? Bob's coming. Okay.
Oh, is he coming? I'm gonna need a ride to the airport. I'll talk to you. You can help me with that. Yeah,
no problem. Okay. You can actually contact Jagannath Priya. Do you have her information?
Oh, okay. I'll get her information, I'm sure.
And send a copy to me. That's the best way.
Okay.
You're coming first to Vrindavan?
No, we end. I guess.
On the end. Oh, that's absolutely no problem.
Yeah, and then I'm staying at Bhaktiḍām after the pilgrimage, so I'll just need a ride.
That's absolutely no problem.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may even call up the Michael Jordan of taxi drivers.
What does that mean? Why? Why is he the Michael Jordan?
The best.
He's the best.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't.
I was just thinking really tall, or
no, or he's dark or something. No, it's no. No, I've been using, when I go and when I come, I've been using the same taxi driver for 45 years.
Huh.
And, you know, he's great. He speaks English. He's so competent. He's never been in an accident. You know, if there's problems to solve, he solves it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, yeah. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll pay a little bit extra to feel safe, you know.
Well, you don't, but I always give him a little extra because, see, I just like someone who can think on his own feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll take care of you because Lal, you know, he insists that he's such a protector. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey.
Haribo. Thank you for the class. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Good. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Srila
Haribo, Amala, Hare Krishna. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and it was a picture of.
It's Srila Dharmika. I just dressed the deity so you can see them.
Wow, huh? It's so great that you and Prahlad are involved with the Bhakti Center. That really gives the place life. Beautiful.
Yes, he's giving the Bhagavatāmṛta today at 11. So now you have a darshan up close.
Oh, it's so wow. It's great.
Great.
Thank you, Shikadharmika. That's so nice. Great. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for your class.
Haribo. Good. Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Good. Anybody else?
Hey Krishna Guru Maharaj, this is Kamala. So good to see you. Thank you for class.
Oh, Haribo.
Haribo.
Send me a text when you'll be in Rishikesh. I don't know if I can coordinate it, but I may.
Okay, I'll send you the dates now.
I spoke to Vaikuṇṭha, but he has so many groups, it's hard to figure out which group is what.
Oh, I'll send you my dates now, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, good. Haribo.
Haribo.
Is your mother here now?
She's flying back today, so she should be there tomorrow.
Oh, she's back in Moscow?
Yeah, she had to get a procedure done on her knees.
What a life, huh? Who has a life like her? Flying back and forth from Govardhan. And Moscow's only like, what, 6 hours?
Yeah, 6-7 hours.
Maximum, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Haribo. Anybody else? Okay, I'll just
Hare
look
Krishna
down the
Guru,
list.
this is Kishore Radha.
Hey, Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
All right, just looking down the list, seeing all the people that are there. Great. Good night. Okay. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaya Vichapati.